Good morning, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another edition of No, it's not ranking the albums. Today is favorite album of the year. It's too early, folks. Too early. Favorite album of the year. We've arrived at 2010. Can you believe it? All the way from 1965 to 2010, we've covered a lot of ground. After today, we've got 9 more years to cover in 9 days. All right, and then we'll move on to something else, another cool new show that I've got in store for you all. So before we get started, want to give thanks to a guy named David Barrows from a t-shirt company called Toxic by Design. Got this cool new shirt. Get the 45 thing, right? Pretty cool. Again, David Barrows, Toxic by Design. They're in the UK. Go check them out. Got a nice little catalog here filled with all sorts of goodies and things that they've got on offer. Very cool stuff. Very happy that Dave was kind enough to send this my way. So again, it's toxicbydesign.co.uk. Toxic by Design. Check them out. Get yourself some t-shirts, some swag, all that good stuff. Thanks again, Dave. Really appreciate it. We'll wear this proudly, all right? So, on to 2010. So, another pretty damn good year for metal and prog, and even some good hard rock. You know, lots to choose from every year. Yeah, and there's a lot of people who have been over since like the mid 90s have been posting every day saying, "Oh, I can't pick anything from this year. Terrible year in music. Nothing's noteworthy. I haven't heard any of these new bands." And then coming to me and saying, "Pete, all you keep doing is picking prog bands. When are you going to pick more metal?" Or when I pick metal, they're like, "Pete, you're picking too many metal bands. I hate thrash and death metal. When are you going to start choosing hard rock and prog and all this kind of stuff?" Guys, I'm not a jukebox. All right. I am going to pick what are my favorites, all right? Instead of crying that there's no good music. I don't understand why you're coming to a video labeled the favorite album of the year 2009 if you haven't listened to anything since 1985. I can't help you there. You got to help yourself, all right? Go out there and listen to some of this stuff. Instead of just making a comment, "I never heard of these bands Pete is picking," or "I don't know anything that was released in that year." Well, go out and listen to the bands that I'm telling you about. Go out and listen instead of just, putting in a negative comment and giving me a thumbs down because you never heard of the band I'm picking or you haven't listened to any new music since 1990 or 85. That's not my fault. All right. And as you can see by the thousands of people who are commenting here, a lot of people are listening to music since, 1990 and a lot of new bands. So, don't be one of those guys or ladies. All right. It's like, don't blame me or the rest of the viewers if you haven't listened to anything new in 3 decades. All right. That's not our fault. There's plenty of good music out there. Trust me. All right. So my favorite album of the year was my favorite pick in 2010. Oddly enough, I went back and I kind of looked at all the stuff and I was like, you know what? It's still kind of my favorite album from that year. Not by much, but it's clear winner. Released September 27th in 2010. Produced by the band for Nuclear Blast Records. I'm talking about Axioma Ethica Odini from Norwegian progressive black metal band Enslaved. Enslaved have long been called kind of like the Pink Floyd of black metal. And while I know there's people out there who don't like the harsh, kind of growling, snarling vocal type of thing, and I get it, all right? I get it. If you're not an extreme fan, you can't get into that style of vocals. I get it. But these guys do mix in some clean vocals, a ton of keyboards and atmospheric kind of elements, kind of like I said, classic Pink Floyd, a little bit of Genesis, that sort of thing. Amidst the pummeling blast beats and the raging guitars and the song. They have lengthy songs, okay? Lots of great instrumental passages. I'm sorry, it's getting darker by the second here. It's pouring here in New York today, here this morning. A lot of great tracks on here. You got, Ethica Odini, Raidho. You got Warun, The Beacon. That's all sorts of good stuff. Night Sight Lightning, all sorts of great tracks on here. By this point in time, the guys in Enslaved are writing lengthy tracks for the most part, like I think we've got here. So the title, Ethica Odini, is about 8 minutes. Raidho is 6. Warun is almost 7. The Beacon is just under 6. You got Axioma, which is the shortest track on here at 2 and change. But then you got Giants, which is almost 7. Singular, which is almost 8. Night Song, which is almost 8. And Lightning, like I said, is also almost 8. So about an hour's worth of music here. Very progressive. Lots of keyboards, lots of cool guitars, pummeling drums, growling and clean vocals, and more importantly, very memorable melodic songs, as ferocious as some of them are. So, I mean, this is kind of like, Enslaved have been on a wave of greatness for quite a while now. There are other albums that they released a little bit before this that I've loved a lot, maybe haven't appeared in the top 1 or 2 or 3 in recent days and weeks, but you're going to see going forward, you're probably going to hear a lot of Enslaved coming from me. If not in the winner, they're going to be mentioned in honorable mention because I've been ranking their albums kind of from a couple before this and going forward pretty high every single year. All right. So my number 2, my runner-up for today, was a debut from a bunch of cats who have a lot of pedigree in the industry. This debut album is self-titled from this band that puts together Mr. Glenn Hughes on vocals and bass, Joe Bonamassa on vocals and guitar, Jason Bonham on drums, and Derek Sherinian on keyboards. I'm talking about Black Country Communion, their stellar debut of brilliant 70s-inspired bluesy heavy rock. If you love the big bands of the 70s, we know who they all are, right? Zeppelin, Purple, throw a little Humble Pie in there, a little bit of Bad Company, a little Cactus, certainly some, I think I already mentioned Deep Purple. All those big bands, those big bluesy heavy rock bands with, blistering blues rock guitar solos, the incredible wailing vocals of Glenn Hughes and his spectacular bass playing. You got Joe sings a couple tracks on each album that these guys have released as well. You got the thunderous drums of Jason Bonham, son of John, and the always capable keyboard talents of Derek Sherinian. Top-notch stuff here. Classy. I listened to this quite a bit when it came out. Still love it. Love the Black Country Communion catalog. Dig the band a lot. I love all the 4 of those guys. And for me, this is one of my favorite supergroups that have kind of come out on the scene in the last decade or so. So there you have my 1 and 2, Enslaved and Black Country Communion. Check them both out. All right. Axioma, Ethica, Odini, and Black Country Communion. Favorite runner-up. What else you might be asking? Kind of showed up on my list for today. Spock's Beard, X or 10, however you like to say it. Great album from the Spoxers. Iron Maiden, Final Frontier. Dig that a lot. Vandenplas, The Seraphic Clockwork. Nevermore, The Obsidian Conspiracy. Those are some of the ones on my short list. I had a much longer long list, right? Anyway, there you have it. So you know the drill, guys. In the comments below, list your favorite, your top 3, your top 5, your top 10, 20, however many you want to do. I know some of you put these just epic lists, and that's pretty cool too. So no right or wrong answer. We all have the stuff we like, right? We all have our favorites, and it's always cool to see what everybody else is picking. It's always cool to see what you guys are predicting I will pick for the next day. So you guys haven't been doing well lately, though. I got to admit, I think I'm stumping a lot of you. So, but you can always cheat. You can go on the seaoftranquility.org website, and you can go to our year-end best of list, and you can see what I've chosen for my best each and every year, and you could see how it compares to how I'm feeling today in the moment, right? So this is on the web. Like I said, www.seaoftranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, of course, we're here on YouTube all the damn time. Coming up momentarily, Stephen Reed and I are going to give our top 10 songs of the great Swedish hard rock band Europe. That's coming up later today as well. We've got ranking the studio albums from Gary Moore, as well as I'm interviewing Nearfest founders. That's the Northeast Art Rock Festival, a great festival that ran from 1999 till 2012 or something like that. Rob LaDuca and Chad Hutchinson, they're going to come on the show, and we're going to kind of do a little Nearfest reminiscing. If you were lucky enough to attend that progressive rock 3-day festival for all those years, or a couple of years, what a great time to see so many great bands and meet so many cool people. I went to like 7 of those in a row, and I will treasure them forever. And it'll be great to talk to those two guys about kind of how it all came down, how it all worked for them, the highlights, the lowlights, all the the great bands they were able to get under contract and get to appear on the festival and all that kind of stuff. So I'm sure we'll be having some great stories, as well as I have a huge surprise. I'm actually not going to announce it because I want to make sure it actually happens and we get it on video and it's ready to post. But I've got a amazing guest star that's coming on the show later this afternoon that I think you guys will be pretty happy with. So that's coming up too, as well as I got a couple other things that are now ironed out in the books. You guys like Neil Morse? Neil Morse is coming on the show next week. All right. The keyboard maestro, formerly of Spock's Beard, currently of the Neil Morse Band, Neil Morse Solo, Transatlantic, so many bands, Flying Colors. Neil is just doing all sorts of great things. He's got a cool new covers project that's coming out, so Neil's going to come on the show to talk about that next week. And, what else we got going on? So many other things, man. There's so much on the calendar. It's crazy. Also, Saturday, ranking the studio albums of Voivod for all you folks who love the Canadian thrash metal legends. So that's coming up as well. So stay tuned, everybody. Be safe, and we'll see you later on. Bye-bye.